Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is today's makeup look. I really wanted to do a look that was like perfect for spring, summer with a really long lasting base but keeping everything else really fresh. For me, that's like the ultimate summer makeup because you know your skin's gonna stay looking good throughout the day, and like we get really hot weather in Australia, like really hot and muggy, like we're all over the place. So I think a long lasting base is really important, but keeping everything else really fresh so it still looks natural and feminine, which I really love. And I also answer a lot of questions about base in the first part of this video, which I really hope you guys find helpful because it's something I'm asked about all the time. So I really hope this answers some questions that you may have, and let's get into the tutorial. I've just gotten out of the shower if you really want to know. And so I've cleansed, toned and moisturized straight after that, so my skin is fresh and ready for makeup. It's really, really important to know that what you put underneath your foundation totally determines the texture of your foundation, how well it's going to last, and also how it's going to look. And not all products are made to work together. I've obviously been trained as a makeup artist a long time ago, and that was actually the first thing that I learned about, was how products work together and what ingredients do and do not work together. And it's actually a really interesting topic, I think, but one of my best pieces of advice is, when in doubt, use the primer and the foundation and even the concealer and the powder if you want to, that are all from the same family, from the same brand or from the same line, because generally they are made to work really well together. In particular, I receive a lot of questions about the Nude by Nature products that I work with, so today they're the ones that I'm going to be using, and I'll show you my best tips for working with them as I go along. So if I'm going to be using the Nude by Nature Flawless Foundation, then I'm going to start with the Nude by Nature Airbrush Mineral Primer. These work really nicely together, and the primer just kind of gives your skin like a really nice smooth base to work with. I'm just going to get a little bit on my fingers and apply it like a moisturizer. And now I'm just going to give it, 30 seconds, maybe a minute to kind of set, because you don't want to be putting wet foundation on top of a wet primer. Just doesn't work. So in super basic terms, have you heard of, I'm sure you have, of trying to mix oil and water together, how they just don't work together? It's the same with makeup, and most makeup is made of a base of oil or water. So at its most basic level, if you're mixing an oil-based foundation with a water-based primer, they're probably not going to work together, which is why I do suggest sticking with products from the same family. Okay, so now on to the foundation, the Nude by Nature Flawless Foundation. This comes in 10 different shades in stores and 20 different shades online. Today I'm going to be using the shade W7 because I have some fake tan on. Quite a lot of fake tan on, actually. So I recommend putting a pump of this, separate hands, onto the back of your hand, and then I really recommend using their buffing brush to work it into your skin. And I like to put the pump on the back of my hands first because it keeps the product warm. It can dry quite quickly, so if you just start buffing it in, like, it's just so quick when you buff it in, and then the rest of the product is kind of kept warm on the back of your hand so it doesn't set too quickly. You can also press quite firmly on the brush and it just feels like a massage. It's really nice. I have actually experimented with this foundation with different application methods, including beauty blenders or sponges and fingers, and by far the buffing brush gives the most flawless, even airbrush kind of look to it. So I would definitely recommend using this over the other options. It's really normal for matte fuller coverage foundations to be a little bit more challenging, I guess, to use than say a BB cream or a super dewy foundation, which is a little bit more forgiving, but they're totally worth getting it right for because they last longer, and it's also really trendy to have that kind of matte skin vibe. I'm super happy with this amount of coverage, but if you did want to add an extra layer, I would again use the buffing brush, but I would use more dabbing motions just so you're not like swirling a product around on top and then making it move around a lot. So I definitely would advise kind of pressing a product onto the skin in that way, and then you can get a full coverage. So now on to concealer, and keeping it in the family, I'm going to use the Flawless Concealer, and I'm using the shade number 4, Rose Beige. This is a great color for my skin. It's so quick and so easy. I've used this so many times, and it's such a nice concealer. So it's obviously really easy to get the shapes that you want if you wanted to like clean up after makeup. It's also really good for just popping in your handbag. Like, it's teeny tiny, so it's really good for just popping in your handbag and going. So I personally like to use the warmth of my fingers to press it into or onto the skin. You can also use a concealer buffing brush. I just find it takes a little bit more time to blend out that way, so my fingers just are easy and, you know, it's quicker. So this concealer comes in 5 different shades, and also Nude By Nature have an online shade matcher, so if you're confused or not sure what shade to get, that's also really helpful, and that applies to the foundation too. As you guys are well aware of, I think at this point, my skin doesn't really feel like it produces a single drop of oil throughout the day, so I'm not going to powder this down because I just have no need to. It just will last. Like, this will last a really long time on my skin. In fact, I wore it yesterday, and I mean, I think I had to take it off after 7 hours because I think that was about the time that I showered, but like, it was still perfect. So, and that's without powder. But if you have oily skin, by all means, or if you prefer an even more matte finish than this, then by all means powder. You go girl, powder away. And you can use the Nude By Nature pressed mattifying mineral veil. That looks really good on top, and that will obviously control the excess oil and shine and make it more matte, and it'll make it last even longer than before. So what I really hope this section of the video did for you is just answer some of those questions or concerns that you may have when using makeup in general, but particularly the Nude By Nature Flawless collection, because I'm a huge believer in the Nude By Nature brand. I love that they're cruelty-free, that they use a lot of natural ingredients and Australian ingredients as well, which is really cool. So I want you guys to have the best experience possible with their products, and I hope that this helps you guys have that experience. Now onto brows, because I cannot deal with looking at these any longer. And I'm going to use the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. This is one of my favorite brow pencils at the moment. It's so fine, which means if you want to, if you have the patience to, you can actually create like brow hair type strokes to make your brows look super natural. But I'm really impatient and I got beef with my brows, so I don't spend that much time doing them. But in general, this is just an awesome pencil, and I use the shade number 2. I personally like my brows to look as good as they can for all makeups, but I think particularly with the natural makeup, because you don't have something else that's really the focus, whereas if you're doing a big bold eye, people are more likely to look at that. So yeah, I think it's really important to spend some time doing your brows, get that shape working for you, and it'll just frame your face, and it's everything in a makeup. Brows are everything. Skin is everything, brows are everything, highlight is everything. Okay, I think they look like, you know, semi-related, about as close as related as they get. So I'm now going to set them with the 1000 Hour Eyebrow Mascara in Clear. This is my favorite brow set that I've found so far, and it's super affordable, and it's from Priceline. So easy. So I like to just brush them up. I kind of like take it on an angle towards the end, and then brush those ones down. And then, this is the fun part, I then push them flat to my skin, and look, it makes them look bushy and defined and like I have natural brow hairs, which I do, but like they're not that full. Seriously, highly recommend trying it if you don't have a lot of natural brow hair. Okay, so eyes are going to be super natural today. I am going to use a gloss on the lid. So I'm just going to do no eyeshadow on the lid because it will then crease and show creasing if you put a gloss over a powder eyeshadow. So I'm just going to do a little bit of eyeshadow underneath, and I'm going to use the Tarte Tartlet Toasted palette. And I'm going to take a mixture of these two shades here called Warmth and Latte, a little bit more latte than warmth. And I'm going to apply them straight underneath my eyes. I'm just going to use a little fluffy brush just to make sure that's all blended. And maybe like a little bit of s'more there. That's a good little blender colour. For my lower waterline, I'm going to apply the Tarte Fake Awake pencil. Just opens up the eyes, makes them, not makes your eyes look cleaner, but makes them look a little bit cleaner, I feel. And I'm then going to apply the NARS kohl liner in the shade Sorrento on my upper inner waterline. Now I'm going to curl my lashes. This is the Mecca Cosmetica lash curler. It's gold. It's so pretty. And honestly, like, curling your lashes will change your life. I have naturally long lashes and you probably wouldn't even know it until I curl them. Like, can you see the difference? If you don't already do this, do it. Like, sometimes I don't even wear mascara and I just curl my lashes because I think it looks like I'm wearing mascara. It's so good. Have to try it. I'm now going to put the eye gloss on. Because I don't have anything underneath, it's not really going to crease, so it's safe to put on now. Whereas if I was putting an eyeshadow on, which I wouldn't do for like long lasting wear, but if I was going to do like an editorial, I would be putting the gloss on at like the very last minute. This is the Kevyn Aucoin Diamond Eye Gloss. And it's super easy to just pat on with your fingers. Now for mascara, and I'm going to use a waterproof mascara just in case it happens to touch the gloss at all. I think it's just a little bit safer and it shouldn't really budge. So I'm going to use the Too Faced Better Than Sex waterproof mascara. Either way, the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascaras are epic, waterproof or not, so I feel like you can't really go wrong with them. I mean, the difference lash curling makes is insane. This particular one's getting a little bit old now, so it's starting to clump up a bit, but it's one of my favorite mascaras. And I don't even really use waterproof mascaras very often, but that is a great one. Now I'm going to bronze up my cheeks, and I'm going to use the NARS Casino bronzer, but this is the like updated version of it. So there's like no gold flecks, and it's just like a beautiful matte bronzer. Usually if you were going to put a colored powder such as bronzer or blush over a liquid foundation, I would tell you to apply a translucent loose powder just even underneath that area, underneath that, like on top of the foundation, underneath the bronzer or whatever you're putting on. But because this does dry to like a semi-matte finish, and it's been kind of sitting on my skin for a while already, it's pretty much fine to go straight over top with a bronzer. But if you do notice like any patchiness or clumpiness, then applying that translucent loose setting powder in between the products will make a huge difference. Okay, now for the fun part. Today, for highlighting, I'm going to use one of my all-time favorite highlighters that I haven't used for ages, and I don't know why I haven't used it for ages. I think I just got a little bit stuck on the Anastasia highlights, which I also love, but this is the MAC Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle. Sorry, Mineralized Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle. It's so stunning. So excited to get this back on my cheeks right now. I mean, okay. I'm going a little bit above my brow because I like to get that kind of glow in this kind of section, you know. Obviously on my cheekbones, top of the cheekbones, can't not. A little bit on my nose. Just the tip of my nose. If I didn't have scarring here, then I would highlight all the way down. But I do have scarring, so I just do the little tip. And Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to grab a smaller brush No, hold on. Hold please. Okay, I'm going to grab a clean, smaller brush and I'm going to apply this to the inner corners of my eyes as well. And if you want to, you can even add like a touch to the center of your eyelid for extra sparkle. But just note that that could actually move around a little bit. Okay, so for lips, I feel like there's a few different options you could go for, which I'm going to show you. With this look, I feel like you could go for more of a matte overdrawn lip, which is probably what I'm going to do, just because it then contrasts with the glossy eye and also gives the look a little bit more definition than just a completely natural look. However, if you wanted a completely natural look, I think Lana Lips Lip Ointment is awesome. These are colored, they have SPF 15 in them, so they're awesome if you're like going to the beach or going out in the sun for a long period of time. These are epic. I don't even want to tell you what shade this is because this particular shade is discontinued, but it was just sitting in my drawer here and I thought you guys had to know about it. Or the other product I think would look awesome with this look is the Marc Jacobs High Shine Lip Lacquer in the shade Pretty Thing. This would also look really nice if you wanted like a little bit more of a defined color rather than like a balm. Like it's glossy, but it's got color. Ooh, why don't I just put a little bit on? You know what? I've totally changed my mind. I'm actually going to keep this on. I was just going to show you guys this color. I'm really happy with that. So I know this look is super natural, but for me, I really do wear like more natural looks in summer anyway, and like having a long lasting base with everything else looking really fresh and simple, I really, really love, and that's super wearable for me. But don't worry, if you like more makeup, I do have more tutorials that I'm going to be filming for the holidays. Because I mean, at least one look has to have glitter, right? Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any questions or feedback you have in the comments box below. I always love hearing from you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.